Room 103. I've stayed in a lot of cheap motels. That comes with the job. Delivery driving across state lines. Nights spent in places that reek of cigarettes and mildew. I thought I'd seen it all, but nothing prepared me for that night at the Pine Rest Motel. I'd been driving 12 hours straight and my eyes were starting to blur. The GPS said there was a motel just off the next exit, and sure enough, there it was, barely lit. One flickering neon sign, barely holding on to the word Motel. The guy at the front desk looked half dead himself, slumped in a torn chair behind bulletproof glass. He didn't even look up when I walked in. Room 103, he said, sliding a key across the counter without asking my name or taking my ID. The whole place had a weird stillness to it. No road noise, no wind, just silence like the world had hit pause. Room 103 smelled like something had died in the walls a long time ago and never been found. The wallpaper was peeling, and the light buzzed faintly overhead. But I was too tired to care. I dropped my bags, kicked off my shoes, and collapsed onto the bed. That's when I noticed the mirror on the wall across from the bed. Huge. Old. The kind that distorts your reflection just enough to make it uncomfortable. I turned over to sleep, but something felt wrong. I don't know how long I'd been out when I woke up. I didn't move, just laid there, staring into the darkness. That's when I saw it. Movement. In the mirror. Something shifting in the corner of the room. I sat up slowly, heart hammering in my chest. The room was empty, but in the mirror there was something in the corner. A shape. A figure hunched and twitching like it was struggling to stay upright. I turned around fast, but there was nothing there. I looked back at the mirror. It was gone. I laughed nervously and rubbed my face. Get a grip, I told myself. But I didn't sleep. Around 3 a.m. I heard whispering. Right outside the door. Soft, frantic. A woman's voice. No, multiple voices. I crept over and looked through the peephole. Nobody was there. Then, knock, knock, knock. 3 slow, deliberate knocks on the door. My breath caught in my throat. I didn't move. The knocking stopped. A pause. Then the doorknob turned. Click, click. Rattle. It was locked. I stepped back quietly, reaching for my phone. No signal. Of course. Then I heard it again, not outside, inside the room, behind me. I spun around and saw it. The mirror. Something was inside it now, pressed up against the glass. A face, twisted, eyes black and leaking something thick and dark. Its mouth was wide open, but I couldn't hear it scream. Only silence. Then the glass began to crack. I ran. I didn't even grab my bag, just tore out of the room barefoot and sprinted to my car. When I looked back, the room was completely dark. No figure, no face. But I swear to God, I saw the reflection of someone watching me from the window as I drove away. I filed a report with the cops. They didn't believe a word. Said Pine Rest Motel was condemned 2 years ago. Closed after a woman went missing from room 103. Her body was never found. The light on Stillwater Lake. I never believed in curses. Not really. But after what happened at my uncle's lake house last summer, I don't know what else to call it. The place was beautiful. On the surface, a quiet wooden house on the edge of Stillwater Lake, surrounded by trees thick enough to swallow sound. I hadn't been there since I was a kid. Uncle Jack passed away and left it to me in the will. I thought a week away from the city would help clear my head. It didn't. The first night was quiet, too quiet. No birds, no wind, just the stillness of the lake, black and unblinking like a giant eye. Around midnight, I saw something strange through the window. A small light hovering over the water near the old boathouse. At first, I thought it was someone fishing, but it didn't move. It just stayed there, flickering. I went outside with a flashlight, but by the time I got to the dock, the light had vanished. I told myself it was nothing, a reflection, a trick of the moon. But the next night it came back, closer. I stayed inside this time, sat in the living room, lights off, watching through the window. The glow drifted across the water like a lantern held by invisible hands. Then it stopped, right at the end of the dock. For a second I thought I saw a shape behind it. A tall, thin figure, just barely visible in the haze. I blinked, and it was gone. That night I dreamed I was underwater, not swimming, sinking. Something cold brushed against my leg. I tried to scream, but the lake filled my lungs. I woke up, gasping, drenched in sweat, the sheets twisted around me like seaweed. On the third day I found footprints, wet ones, leading from the dock across the porch and stopping right outside the front door. No one was supposed to be there but me. I checked every lock. I even slept with a knife under my pillow. I should have left. I know that now. But something about the place held me, like the lake was whispering in my ear, begging me to stay. I started hearing things in the walls, soft thuds, faint scraping. And every night, the light on the lake came closer. By the fifth night, it reached the shore. That's when I saw her. A woman standing at the edge of the dock, hair dripping, skin pale as bone, eyes black and empty. She didn't move, didn't speak, just stared at the house, at me. I couldn't look away. My body was frozen, like she'd pulled me into her nightmare. Then, slowly, she lifted one hand and pointed straight at me. I blacked out. I woke up the next morning on the floor. The front door was open. My feet were wet. I checked the dock. There were more footprints. This time they were leading back into the lake. I left that morning, drove until the house was miles behind me. I haven't been back. I won't. But sometimes at night, I still dream of that lake, of her face, of her hand reaching through black water. And when I do, I wake up wet. Room 206. It was supposed to be one night, just a quick stop between cities before heading to my cousin's wedding. I wasn't expecting luxury, just a bed, a hot shower, and maybe a vending machine that wasn't empty. That's how I ended up at the Redwood Pines Motel, just off the highway, surrounded by overgrown bushes and flickering neon. The woman at the front desk barely looked up when I walked in. She handed me the key without a word. The tag was scratched, but I could make out the number, 206. The stairs creaked as I climbed up to the second floor. The air smelled like mildew and old smoke. The door to room 206 groaned when I pushed it open. Inside, the room was colder than outside. No matter how high I turned the heater, it never got warm. I tried to shake it off, threw my bag on the stained chair, flopped on the bed, and tried to scroll on my phone. But the Wi-Fi was garbage and my data barely worked. I gave up and turned on the TV. Static. Then came the knock. 3 soft taps. I figured maybe the desk lady forgot something, so I opened the door. No one was there. I leaned out, scanned the walkway. Empty. just the hum of a soda machine down the hall and the buzzing sign outside casting everything in a sick red glow. I shrugged it off, closed the door, locked it. 10 minutes later, knock, knock, knock. This time it was harder, sharper, like someone wanted to be let in. I jumped up and checked the peephole. Nothing. But when I opened the door again, there was something on the ground. A piece of paper, folded neatly. I picked it up and opened it. Don't let him in. Not again. I froze. The handwriting was shaky, rushed, like whoever wrote it was terrified. I checked the hall again. Still no one. Back in the room, I locked the door, then pushed the dresser in front of it, just in case. I left the light on, tried to calm myself down. Maybe it was a prank. A weird motel prank. I told myself that right up until the TV turned on by itself. More static. But behind the hiss, I swear I heard something. Breathing, slow and heavy. Then I saw it, on the screen. A man, tall, standing just outside my door. His face was hidden in shadow, but he just stood there, watching, waiting. I spun around to check the window. Nothing. When I looked back at the screen, it was just static again. I unplugged the TV, but at 3:06 a.m. I woke up to someone whispering my name, right next to the bed. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. Then the whisper came again, low and gravelly. "Let me in." I leapt out of bed and turned on every light. No one was there, but when I looked at the mirror, the words, "Let me in," were smeared in condensation. I didn't sleep after that. I sat in the chair until the sky began to lighten. Then I grabbed my bag, ran out, didn't even check out. When I turned in the key, I saw the back of the tag. There was something carved into the plastic. Room 206 is his. I don't know who he is. I don't want to know. But if you ever find yourself driving past Redwood Pines, keep going. And whatever you do, don't stay in room 206.